Hi Kelly, how are you doing today?
Hi Noah, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being able to come in and make some time in your busy day with us.
Yeah.
So we just brought you here today to talk about the United Way, a little bit about your position, what that entails, what the United Way does, the whole thing.
Where should I start?
So let's get started with the United Way. Can you
Yes.
explain what they do?
Yes, the United Way is a nonprofit in Chester County. We're the United Way of Chester County. So
Okay.
each region has its own United Way.
Okay.
And we raise funds and we allocate resources to
Okay.
the community. So through our agency partners, all of the other nonprofits in the county, we work to mobilize in times of need,
Mhm.
and we really act as a connector in the community to make sure the people who need help are connected with those who can help.
Okay, great. So is it more of an individual focus or more of like a business focus, would you say?
It's not really business. I
Mhm.
mean, we are a true nonprofit,
Yeah.
but we don't provide direct services. That's what our nonprofit partners do.
Okay.
So we support the nonprofits, and then they provide the services directly to their clients.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Great. That sounds like a vastly needed service.
it is. I've been there for 8 months,
Mhm.
and I've been nothing but impressed with the level of services they provide, with the support they provide to the community. I should say we provide to the community, and all of just the passion and commitment that everyone in this realm has.
Yeah. I feel like that's something you certainly need when you're working in the world of nonprofits is passion.
Truly,
Yeah.
truly.
So you mentioned you've been there about 8 months.
Yes.
What's your position with the United Way?
My role is Director of Leadership and Innovation.
Okay.
Which is a really cool title.
It is cool.
Yes.
So what exactly does that entail?
I like to say that I have two facets to
Mhm.
my role. The first is a little bit more well established.
Mhm.
It is leading a program called Leadership Chester County.
Okay.
Leadership Chester County is it's a 22-year-old program, so very well established,
Yeah.
very respected in the community. And what we do is we provide training and education for professionals
Mhm.
who then become board members for nonprofits.
Okay, cool. So
Yes.
any nonprofit really.
Yeah, any passion that they have, any interests that they have, participants can really just learn about what it takes
Okay.
to serve on a board. And many of them are coming to our program really unfamiliar with nonprofits as a whole.
Yeah.
So we try to educate them and really open up some eyes as to what's needed in our community and how they can lend their valuable gifts and time
Huh.
to the right group.
That's wonderful. So when training board members, are you taking just community members of Chester County and training them?
Yes,
Okay.
we are. And we are heavily supported by several companies
Mhm.
in the community who are long-standing supporters of Leadership Chester County. So they identify leaders within their employee base,
Mhm.
and they allow them to come, and they sponsor them
Oh,
to
wow.
come to the program. So we do have some companies that year after year, they send their employees and really see the value in having an employee get that leadership skill.
Yeah.
And also their benevolence in saying we want our employee base to give back.
Right. Yeah.
And then we have people who just hear about us and they come on their own. We do also have several attendees each year who are from nonprofits.
Okay.
And we do offer a small number of scholarships each year for
Oh,
them.
wow. Okay.
So that really helps them, obviously not learn how to be on a board, but how to recognize their board, how to build a strong board,
Right.
and what kinds of things that can really improve their board leadership.
Wow. You really weren't kidding when you were talking about community. That it really sounds like that's the way to do things. If you want a tight knit community, you take from members of the community because
Yes.
they know what it's really like.
That is so true,
Yeah.
really true, Noah. And the program was created in the beginning because there was kind of a small group of people who were always being asked to be on boards.
Mhm.
So they would move from one board to another, and they realized that the reason for that was because there weren't enough people who really understood what board service was,
Okay, yeah.
what it entailed, and so these nonprofits kept relying on the same team of people to kind of make their rounds
Right.
and help their community. So this wonderful group of people got together and said, if we really helped professionals in our area understand what that service is,
Yeah.
and empower them to be on boards, we would have such a strong support system
Yeah.
for our nonprofits.
Well, it sounds like it worked out beautifully if it's been running for 22 years.
Truly, yes, and I like to say that that's the part of my role that is very well established,
Mhm.
and I'm excited to go through a year of this cohort and then see where we can make things better or what needs to just continue on as is, and
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Yeah, that's great. It's funny that you mentioned coming up on a year. I'm actually coming up on my first full year with IT Edge as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So I am also excited to kind of look back and see where we can make improvements going forward
Mhm.
and how we can grow.
Great.
How about the second part of your job title?
Yes, so the innovation portion of my role
Yes.
is really exciting and a little intimidating at times, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. It's a clean slate. I came into this role with a lot of ability to make this brand new and whatever kind of. Can I start over? Can
Yeah,
I cut
of course.
that part?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second part of my role is innovation, and that part of my role is really starting from scratch.
Okay.
A little bit of background on that part of my job is before I came on board, the United Way was gifted a new building in Exton. So
Oh,
we
wow.
have this beautiful new headquarters right in Exton, and it has a big leadership center
Mhm.
where we hold our leadership classes. And we also had this one room that Chris Salo, our CEO, he looked at it and said, "What can we do that's really different? That's really something the community hasn't seen yet."
Mhm.
And the first thought that came to his mind was, let's offer this space to nonprofits who don't have office space.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's where its origins began. There was some extra cubicles that had been left over from the previous tenant.
Mhm.
So the thought was, let's give this space, make this a working space for nonprofits. And from that, his vision and his innovation really grew and grew. They developed what they called the Social Innovation Steering Committee.
Okay.
And this team, it's a team of who's who in the community of innovation leaders, entrepreneurial thinkers, a really great team
Mhm.
that Chris and the rest of the staff brought on board to talk about what does this look like?
Yeah.
What can we do here that's different
Yeah.
and that really meets the needs of the community that hasn't been met before
Right.
in this way. So there were a few iterations of what social innovation would look like. They thought it might possibly look like training people in thinking innovatively and maybe doing some cohort sessions, maybe doing some funding of pilot projects. One of the wonderful things that I'm very lucky is they hired me to lead the program.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of where I came in, and I was greeted by this wonderful steering committee who was unbelievably helpful and such a wealth of knowledge in our community.
Well, that's wonderful.
It really was. So, and they gave me guidance, but they also gave me leverage to do what I felt was the right next steps for this program.
Right.
In doing so, some really cool and amazing things unfolded. We came across some partnerships that have really taken this program in ways we didn't expect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we have someone from Penn State on our steering committee, and he guided me towards the Nittany AI Alliance, which
Okay.
is a team at Penn State. It's a team of students
Mhm.
that are tasked with creating socially innovative AI solutions
Yeah.
for social good. And they did a workshop out in Pittsburgh, and I read about it and I thought, we really need to do this here.
Yeah.
This is really cool. They brought in nonprofits, they gave them some entry-level AI enablement,
Yeah.
and then they matched with them to do some projects that would help them, supplement their resources and make their jobs easier.
Wow.
So I thought this is a really cool turn that I think our community hasn't really thought about yet.
Yeah.
And as you know, AI is everything right
Yeah.
now. People are either trying to stay on top of it or they're terrified.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Especially nonprofits. So
Okay.
there are people who think, oh gosh, this is going to take my job.
Yeah.
If AI can fill out a grant application, they're not going to need me anymore.
Right.
It's actually the exact opposite.
Okay.
If we have tools that can make administrative tasks like that easier, the staff gets lifted up to do even more meaningful things.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what we see our role is to really help our partners in the community to learn what technology can do and what it isn't going to do,
Right.
and help them use it in a way that lets them do their mission in an even more efficient way.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great point that you made there about leveraging those types of tools. Because like you said before, you're either terrified of it
Yes.
or you're trying to stay on top of it.
Right.
And here at ITH, we use AI for a variety of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, using it for not dull, but kind of repetitive administrative tasks
Yes.
is a great way to free up your time
Mhm.
in order to do more important things.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a wonderful point. It sounds like this role allows for you to have a lot of creative freedom.
I do. I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
I certainly have boundaries to stay within, but the team is just so forward thinking that it's really exciting.
That's awesome.
It's really exciting.
Is this similar to anything you've done in the past?
No, not certainly. My background is in high tech.
Okay. Yeah.
I worked for SAP for many, many years.
Okay.
I worked there, I think my total years of service was about 15 years.
Mhm.
Over the course of 25
Okay.
years, I stayed home with my sons
Yeah.
for many years
Mhm.
as well. I loved my career at SAP. It's a wonderful company. I was very proud of what I had accomplished there, and I just loved the people there like family.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone should have a T-shirt, but then COVID, you know, like,
Right.
right? So that Thursday in March, everybody went home, and working from home was just not for me.
Yeah.
I didn't thrive. I really felt very isolated, and I
Mhm.
felt like the entire tone of my job changed
Yeah.
at that time. I feed off of energy of people.
Mhm.
I loved being in the office. I loved traveling for events,
Mm-hmm.
and I really loved being with that type of energy.
Right.
So being from home was really, really tough
Yeah.
for me. In doing so, I kind of became very reflective.
Mhm.
I think as many people did
Absolutely.
during the pandemic, and
Yeah.
I thought, is this my purpose?
Mhm.
You know, I've loved my role here, but I think I might be being pulled towards something else.
Mhm.
So I dipped my toe into some nonprofit research. I talked to all of my friends who worked in nonprofit, and I asked them, like, does this make sense? Am I crazy to
Yeah.
think that I can make this huge transition? And they all just said, no, it's not crazy. If your heart is telling you that, then it might be something you want to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I did, and the more I learned about nonprofit and the more I learned about being in that level of service, the more I truly felt like, I think this is for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just very, very fortunate to find a role that coincided with my technology background
Mhm.
and really allows me to be creative.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so nice when you have a revelation like that and then can find something that's the right fit for you.
Mm-hmm. It really was.
Anything exciting happening in United Way's future?
we have a lot of exciting things happening. In fact, I was sharing with you earlier that we had a workshop this morning right in our headquarters building. Let me backtrack a little bit to share with you how our Innovation Lab offerings have kind of fallen into place.
Please, yeah.
So one of the challenges we had in creating something brand new was we knew what we wanted to do, and we knew we had these offerings that were starting to come together, but we really didn't know how to brand them and how to create this this program, this set of initiatives that made sense as a story.
Right.
So one of the things that we did was we brought in what we called a marketing think tank.
Okay.
And we asked some of the marketing leaders that we knew from the community, some of my old friends from the SAP world. We had some folks from AWS and CTDI and the CCEDC and all the other jumbled alphabet soup letters. And we asked them to come and really take a look at what we're doing from another perspective, because sometimes you get too close to stuff.
You need fresh eyes.
Right. You need someone who hasn't seen what you've done before and can really take a look at it from a new perspective.
Absolutely.
And another thing that we found is that people are very willing to do skilled volunteerism, which is different than showing up on a Saturday and picking up trash in a field, which is very valuable and needed, but at the same time, that's one type of volunteerism. Another type of volunteerism is lending your professional skills and your business savvy and stepping in and really helping nonprofits where they need it. So that was what we called on these folks to do, and we couldn't have been more grateful for their time and their insight. And so one thing that this team unanimously told us is, don't just list your offerings, tell us about the impact. We just kept hearing that over and over again. Impact, share the impact. So we went back to the drawing board and laid out all of the initiatives we're working on. And what we came up with was Innovate for Impact.
Okay.
So it brings in the innovation side, but it also relates the importance of what does this innovation do for the community. And under that umbrella of Innovate for Impact, we have 4 different offerings.
Okay.
We have AI for Impact, which is the Penn State program I just told you about. We have Inspire for Impact, which is capacity building workshops, one of which we did this morning with one of our board members. We have Insight for Impact, and that's another Penn State program I'll tell you about. And then we have Lead for Impact, which is the leadership program.
Oh, okay, great.
So we kind of brought it all under one umbrella, and we're focusing on the impact that they all serve.
That's amazing, yeah. I feel like that's a great way, I don't want to say to sell, because you're not selling anything, but to show people what your idea is really about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a clean way of communicating how they all relate to each other and what impact they have on the people we are hoping to help with this.
Right. So what about that workshop you were talking, was it a workshop?
The Insight for Impact.
Right.
Again, we have this close partnership with Penn State, and Penn State Great Valley, as you know, is in Chester County.
Yeah.
They had something called the Big Data Lab, which is now, I apologize, I don't know what the new name is. I think it's like the Insight Center or something like that.
Yeah.
But they asked us to be a capstone project for their graduate study data and analytics program. And so we contributed to that, and what we're working towards there is we're giving the students several sources of data, and what they'll do is they'll clean it up, and then they're working with a company called Click, which is in King of Prussia. Do you know Click?
I don't know.
They're a Tableau competitor.
Okay.
They do front-end business visualization.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So they're working with Click. Click actually offered us a grant to do the cloud hosting of the data and also the visualization side of it.
Great.
So our goal is to create a Chester County dashboard. And what we would like to do is really offer insights to the people that serve our neighbors, friends, community members to see what are the biggest areas of need, possibly do some predictive analytics to say this is where we're serving now, but down the road it might shift to here.
Right.
And also taking into consideration big changes, like once the railway system is up in Coatesville, will that change workforce numbers?
Right, yeah.
So we're really looking into how does data and analytics fall into our whole service of offerings as well,
Yeah.
and really help the nonprofits in our area be able to serve their missions.
Wow. This is really eye-opening to me. I'm not familiar with this kind of behind the scenes of working with nonprofits. I had a friend in college who would write grants, but that's pretty much all I saw about the nonprofit world. So it's really, really interesting and really cool to see how you're incorporating modern technology and data into making these decisions that are great for the community.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it sounds like really satisfying work.
And especially when we hear back from our nonprofit partners who say, you know what, this really allowed me to free up my time to spend more with the people we serve, as opposed to, doing the administrative work and that kind of thing.
So is there anything you'd like to promote before we end this episode here?
Yeah, we are actually having a ChatGPT for Nonprofits session on December 7th.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's very beginner level. So if nonprofits are feeling a little intimidated by ChatGPT, aren't really sure how they can use it for their role, we have one of our amazing board members. His name is Aaron Proietti, and he will be facilitating the session, a 2-hour session on December 7th. The registration link is on our website, and I think it'll really give people a lot less of an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll also come away with some really specific nonprofit functions for ChatGPT, like not just how to write an email, but how to write a strategic plan or how to write a thank you donor letter. And that's just really one small aspect of AI that they can maybe start to dip their toe into.
Right. Education's key when it comes to it. The more you learn about it, I think the less afraid people will be.
Exactly. And when you see it demonstrated right in front of you, I think it seems a lot less intimidating.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, thank you, Kelly, so much for coming in. It was wonderful talking to you.
You too, Noah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll have you back in the future. We can check back in on what United Way is doing.
I would love that.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.